Oh, hey guys. You probably noticed this isn't Florida, but I know there's several of you dying for an update on Successful Contractor. Because there's a lot going on in Florida, and there's a lot of good things, and maybe some things that haven't been so good over the years. And I want to talk about that while I give you the financial updates and tell you how the company's actually doing. Join me in the studio and we'll talk about it. Oh, look, it's a special guest.
Hello.
Hey, welcome back to our news desk. And you might recognize our special guest. This is Dan.
Very special.
With SWI.
SWI Wyoming.
Wyoming. 100% Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Every once in a while, I have to come back to Wyoming just to remember why I left. And Dan promised me that if I came to shoot some videos this week, that it would be beautiful and the weather was supposed to be great.
Perfect.
It is in fact not beautiful. It is not great. It was -2 this morning and blowing snow.
And when I looked 4 days ago, it was a chance of rain, okay?
Yeah.
It escalated to the worst.
So as bad as things have been sometimes in Florida, at least we don't have this. This is not flip-flop weather. What's been your experience watching being my brother and watching me go through all this in the last couple of years? What do you have to say about that, or what have you seen?
I've seen a lot of stress on your side as far as trying to be here and do this and then call Mark for a couple questions. I gotta go, I got a problem. It's always a problem there. At least for the last year, I think that the problems have actually gone away.
We're good now, right?
So there's been a lot of growing pains, and I guess what I would say is that I started Olson Fencing and then crashed and burned at that, and then we had to start over with SWI, and that was difficult in a different way. Then we started Florida, and so after starting from scratch basically 3 times, I can tell you that it was not different than having 3 kids. And it's the first time I didn't know what I was getting into, and it was hard and it was difficult. And the second time with SWI, we kind of already had a phone that was ringing, so it was a little easy, and you get a little cocky and you're like, man, I could just do this. I could do this anywhere. And so you move to Florida and you're like, oh, this would be a breeze. This is not a problem. It was indeed. It was in fact a problem.
Oh, why did I do this?
And I think that's what we can all take away is no matter how many times we've done something, there's still going to be challenges that you didn't account for. I have three kids and now 3 chances at business, and the third one just taught me that I indeed still do suck and probably don't go for a 4th.
Very smart.
But guess what? Fresh news right off the press. Oh, wow. This just in. SWI is profitable.
What? What?
You guys only care about Florida. You barely even care about Wyoming. Some of you people are saying, what is Wyoming? Yes, we actually have a fence company in Wyoming. It's been profitable every year since it started. Florida, however, lost a bunch of money last year, as you well know, if you go back. This is the first time in the company's history that we've actually shown a profit. Today, I will share with you what the numbers are currently. So profit and loss through the end of September is $1,968,000 and some change. Total cost of goods sold was $866,000, leaving a gross profit of $1.1 million. And just for those of you wondering, that is 50% gross profit. Now, things to take into consideration is that I have not been paid. I have not been paid at all throughout all this stuff. So to really get an accurate picture, I would need to have my salary come out of this, and I haven't started paying myself yet. 56% gross profit, that's good. Anything over 50%, I would consider very good. Below 45%, probably evaluate your numbers a little bit. So we have a total expense of $1.038 million, and that leaves us with a net ordinary income of $63,000. Now, again, remember that I haven't been paid, so if I had paid myself, we would probably be about 0. Other things to think about if you guys aren't really familiar with financial reporting is that $63,000 has to also cover any debt obligations that we have. So if we're making payments to a bank, those principal payments have to come out of that $63,000. So when you look at a profit and loss, don't think, hey, that's all money that should be in my account. It may have already gone out. If you have $63,000 worth of bank payments that you've been paying over the year, that money is already gone. So it's looking up. That's only a 3.2% profit. But some things that I think are worth noting about that profit is that we've done a lot of things this last year that are going to help set us up for success in the future. Pouring the concrete, that was an expense that we did at the new place. Moving was a huge expense because you basically lose an entire week of production to getting your shop moved and relocated. Moves are hugely expensive. So lots of expense in getting moved and getting set up, getting the new shop set up. We had to run electrical out there. We had to buy 2 shipping containers to store stuff in, fix up the office, buy office stuff that we didn't have. So all those expenses have been recorded on the profit and loss and are dragging those numbers down just a little bit. I would say say this has not been a fun experience. I would love to lie to you and say it has been. But if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it.
It's just been that difficult.
I have not enjoyed it. I've not enjoyed it at all. I was alone for a lot of it. Had somebody been there like you or Alan, that would have been in the trenches right there with me, fighting and helping, that had the skill, then that would have made it a lot better.
So you were just Batman and no Batman and
I had no Robin.
You had no Robin.
I had no Robin. And everybody wants to support me from afar, but supporting from afar is not the same thing as being there. I don't think a partnership and the tax formation of a partnership is great, but I think that having partners in business is extremely good. I wish I had somebody to back me up and really be there every day in the trenches with me. And not to say that Amber and Jeremy weren't doing that, but they can't install. And that's one thing that we struggle with still to this day, is trying to get the installs where we need them. So our goal for the whole year has been $60,000 in sales and $60,000 a week in installations. If we can do those two things, then you figure it out, and that's just a little bit over $3 million, which was the goal for this whole exercise, is to try and get to $3 million in the second year. The way it's looking now, I'm going to put us at $2.5 million. We're going to be about $500,000 short of that.
That's still a success, though. It's not
Yeah, so I think last year we did 1.2 million. So we'll more than double what we did last year. Without me being able to pull from other sources of income and prop up SWI Florida, we would have failed. I had to dig into the SWI Wyoming piggy bank to make sure that we could keep going. So,
And maybe you covered this way off in the beginning, but I want to just go ahead and reiterate on this right now, because there's a lot of people out there that think that owning your own company, owning your own business is super easy because you can make your own schedule. You can do whatever you want. You're at ease. You don't have to work for the man.
yeah, you don't have to work for the man. You have to work for all of the men. And instead of having one employer, you have 100 or 200. Some of your employers are going to be pretty terrible.
Why are you the way that you are?
So it's not like all flowers every day and just you love every single one of them?
No, it's not. The nice thing when you work for somebody is that you get to go home and you can check out. You can say, I'm done. I'm off the clock.
You can turn your phone off.
I don't have to worry about this again until tomorrow morning.
Even though if you've been fighting problems and issues one day and you know you're going to continue to do the same thing the following day.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Don't ever forget that failure is always an option. We could be one job away from losing it all at any given time.
That's comforting.
That's the way I play. I play with all the chips in the middle all the time. It is not for the weak, and if you are not a gambler, this probably is not for you. But if you're like, hey, I believe in myself and I believe in my ability and got a good game plan, then this may be for you. If you just love risk, but you better love risk, because there's a lot of risk. There's risks that you didn't even think of.
But here in Wyoming, we're more spread out. We don't have a ton of fence companies in one area. But when I went to Florida last year, it seemed like everybody and their brother was doing fences down there. Competition has to be like every day, all day.
Not only does Florida have a lot of competition, it has terrible competition. I mean, the kind of companies that are doing everything illegal. So they're paying their people piece rate. So they just say, oh, you're going to make $175 a day. We're going to work you for 10 or 12 hours a day because we don't want to pay overtimes.
No overtime.
Then you have the people that pay people 1099 subcontractors, and they're not 1099 subcontractors, they're employees. They're just trying to get away from all the work comp and all the other stuff. And to come in there as a company that is trying to be above board, we pay people an hourly wage, we pay them overtime, we pay them very good, and compete against those people. I have so little respect for the companies that do those two things that I just spoke about. If you're one of these companies and you do that stuff, whether it be fencing or elsewise, you are the bane of contracting existence. You're terrible.
Stop it. Get some help.
You should hang it up, because if you can't survive doing things the right way, then you should not be in business.
Got it?
That's made it very difficult, that illegal competition. That's added a level of misery. And that goes in my bucket.
Well, you know what they say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I don't think they say that, Dan. Who says that?
It's just my thing, I guess.
Can't beat them, cheat them.
There you go.
So the initial goal was to do $3 million by the end of the second year. So that's in one calendar year. I don't mean the combined revenue between the 2 years, because we'll actually hit that. We'll be maybe 3.7 million between the 2 years. It's not good enough to just do $3 million. If you did $3 million, but you spent $3.6 million to do it, well, that's a loss, and that's not good.
You think?
What we wanted to do is get to $3 million and hopefully have about a 10% profit. I don't think we're going to hit that. We're going to fall short of our $3 million goal. At this point in time, I will be happy with anything in the positive, to be very honest with you.
How do you think this has changed you as a person or as a business owner?
When I say it's been hard, I want you to hear it. It has not been easy, and there's a lot of days that haven't been fun.
I'm so over this.
You know, there's days you just want to go home and punch, and that's why I play Fortnite. Is because, you know, I mean, I love my family, so I we don't take it out on the dogs, we don't take it out on our wife, but somebody's going to get shot in the face, and so thank goodness for Fortnite.
Thank goodness.
Huge shout out to my wife who's put up with all this, because it's not been easy for her either. It's not been tough on our marriage, but she wants the happy fun mark back.
Happy fun.
Yeah, happy fun mark. So
Yeah.
I want my happy fun mark back too.
What do you think Carl Jones would say if he was sitting in my seat right now?
He'd probably be like, wow, and all the people that I thought were going to make it, I didn't think it was going to be you. Something like that. I think he's pretty impressed by the level of success that we found. Ultimately, he was the one that taught us how to work. If he hadn't taught me how to work, I would just be a quitter. That one single thing is the reason that I say still today that I would go back and live through that misery at $1 an hour and do all that all over again, even though it was miserable the whole time I was doing it. So that is, in a nutshell, kind of a summary of where we're at, how I feel about it, and stay tuned. Successful Contractor is not going anywhere. SWI in Florida is not going anywhere. SWI in Wyoming is not going anywhere. In fact, hopefully we're still going to keep going up. So if you want more, check out the SWI channel. In case you didn't know, there's a channel all about fencing that him and I and the other brother do. Anything and everything you could want to know about fencing, where we don't talk about the business side of it, we talk about the how-to side of it.
We show you the how-to. How do you do that? This is how you do that.
So if you want to see the whole story on Olson Fencing, check out this video right over here, because that's going to be the first one, and you can follow along in the whole series of how Olson Fencing started and crashed and burned.